So, I want to come to the economic impact of this. What do you see the economic impact of this, relationship not going the way it possibly should have? What is the economic impact on India? Chinese companies are investors in India. Indian supply chain in many businesses, pharma, auto, in electrical components is dependent on the Chinese, sort of producing and supplying us those equipment. So what do you see as the economic impact of this follow?
You see, let's be very clear about one thing, that the Chinese labor market is an imperfect labor market. It is imperfect because it has an absence of collective bargaining. There are no trade unions. There is no such thing as a minimum wage. And the growth of the Chinese economy has been based on an exploitation of Chinese labor. Now, the world has actually taken advantage of this exploitation of Chinese labor, and they have allowed themselves to de-industrialize. I mean, for example, this whole process of de-industrialization started 30 years ago when the US began to vacate industries in which there was a comparative advantage for the Chinese to manufacture the product at a very low margin, and the advantage that producer surplus was enjoyed by the US producers. I mean, like, for example, Apple probably pays the Chinese vendor $100 to make an Apple iPhone, and they sell it for $1,000 in the US. So that entire producer's margin accrues to them. And this producer's margin enabled large indirect taxes, large welfare payouts, and large profitability, and also provided employment in the service sector. So the same thing happened in India. I mean, if you look at ceiling fans, these ceiling fans were at one time all made in India, and it's not rocket science to make a ceiling fan. But today you find that every fan manufacturer has outsourced the manufacture to China. So we have suffered that deindustrialization. Now the question is that if these fans were being made in India, there would have been employment, and that there would have also been an employment in the selling of the fans. Right now, the situation is that because the fan manufacturers are enjoying this large producer surplus, they've permitted that manufacture to shift to China. So how are we going to actually decouple from China is going to be the big issue. Can we decouple? Can we go through the pain? Can our companies agree to enjoy lower profit margins? Can growth be tempered? I mean, these are questions that we've got to look at. The other thing is that the issue of the entrepreneur's playing field, it's not a level playing field, because in China you get collateral free credit and you have zero or near zero interest rates. Here the situation is not the same in India. So how are we going to create the basis today to reindustrialize ourselves and compete with the Chinese? That is a big issue that's going to confront us.